So much of our behavior is controlled by the planet that we live in. So to say that we're running in optimal operating capacity or to our true behavior or to our true identity is not it.
Mm-hmm.
We're influenced by night and day cycles.
Yeah.
Spring, summer versus autumn, winter.
Yeah.
So this causes you to shut down, right? Which then can make you feel quite sad. And then happiness. Summer would be more happiness for most people because abundance, food, naturally, that would be more of a happy time, okay? Strip away all of the things that humanity have coated themselves in now.
Yeah.
Go back in time, go back in time. So, pre-hunter-gatherers then were utilizing sticks, staking in sticks. We can recreate this with modern tools. Modern tools is what you've been taught to use, so it serves no purpose to recreate this using stone tools. Sitting there shaving down some flints and whatever else and going from there. No, you are born into an era that simplifies this process. That's all it does. All the modern tools are knives to shape. It's just a simplified version of what already was. And on top of that, this served a purpose for evolving on the planet. The next tools, the next things that come through the human consciousness are tools of technology. Now, what are these for? You're also falling into the trimester of laziness over the population. This is going to grow, not diminish. All it is you're behind as opposed to where you should be. You could think about this in one way, right? You can do all of those mundane fucking tasks. But hunter-gatherers looked back and said, we're not doing these mundane tasks. To do it all on your own, collect all the firewood, rush around, get water, do this, build shelter.
Yeah.
And that's a lot for one individual to do. That's a lot for one family to do.
Yeah.
But multiple families coming together under community, that's easy.
Yeah.
So you've got the people who are weaving the rushes and the grasses. We call it basketry today. They didn't start off as baskets. Which one came first, the basket or the panels for houses? You utilize the same weave technique to make a basket and you weave it very tightly.
Yeah.
This becomes your roof. You weave it tightly still. This becomes your side panel to your house. This allows a lot of airflow, is one. Two, it allows you to have a fire, although very risky. Not too much. It's all about the design. Back then, it wasn't about safety. It was about convenience. Convenience weighed heavy over this, whether it was safe or not. However, the risks were greater. It was a lot more dangerous for them to be exposed than it was to be sheltered. This stuff is quite strong. It can withstand a fair old amount. But even still, staking up some sticks, dushing these in, and then tying this basketry. So basically, essentially, they were living in a giant basket, tightly weaved. And as you can understand that you can make basketry from different shapes and sizes.
Yep.
Different, pretty much, you could wrap that around anything you wanted it to.
Yeah.
Open in the middle and comes down, a bit like a hat. Extend the hat, that would be, rather than having the part that goes over the head, and you've got the side bits out, perhaps a straw hat, wouldn't be made of straw. If you cut a hole in that and leave that up, quite high above a fire, you've got place for smoke to escape. Also, if it did pour it down with rain, depending on where they were, it would hit this stuff, and not a lot of it will come in. Saving the fire.
Yeah.
And therefore, keeping themselves dry. Slowly but surely, the behavior begins to change. It becomes from, is this possible, a thought, to, yes, this is possible, I wonder what else. This stuff is very, very good. You can also collect water with it, depending on how tight the weaves are.
Yeah.
You can also store food. Then could you make some sort of drawers with it? Can you make a bed? Deals with the problem of using loose straw. This stuff seems to be more woven. And what's the problem with that is it doesn't last. It's 100% biodegradable. So we're understanding then that reality starts to now shape. This is when we call intelligence awakening starts to emerge. Now, do you think life forms go through a process or a journey in order to shape their behavior? Here's something, right?
Yeah.
That spark of evolution in you, what do you think it is? It's a separate operating system. It's an operating system that is operating unbeknownst to you, but sort of known to you. Instincts, all sorts. It's keeping you alive. And we've got to think that it likes internal, external. The only one that seems to have merged the two forces and utilized both of these forces to its advantage, as opposed to being one or the other. Most of the life forms begin to ask questions, right? Why do I feel like there's two of me? Douche, remove it. Okay, now we've got two. Go to the next level. Why do I feel like there's two of me? Douche. And keep going with this process because you can keep going. It's a fascinating thing that. When really, life is being shaped by feelings. And you can have many, many forms in one vessel. You. Do you feel like there's two of you?
Yeah.
Fascinating. There wouldn't be male and female if this process didn't happen. And how did they know? How did they get that right from their perspective? They were asking a question, and before the universe transitions, how did they know? They predicted it. How? By looking inwards. How did they find that? By looking in. I feel like there's two. Shall we separate? And therefore, if you expose a human being, a life form, especially an intelligent one, to different environments, they're going to behave in a very different way, aren't they? And they're also going to feel like a one version versus the other version. So do you feel like bursts of hunter-gatherer moments in you? Could you shape that out? Could you know enough to look at all of the mind and the way that it's evolved? And not only if a life form comes to the end of all of this and manages to balance in between the two, right?
Yeah.
And utilize both of those forces to its advantage. A bit like your evolution, which you could say God technology, and it's fucking fascinating. This one has incorporated both. There's a clue. External instincts, survival, keep you alive, and internal. All in one. Could you imagine sticking that in artificial intelligence? Holy fucking shit. And what's more, the technology isn't perfect. No, because it's limited to the body, the vessel, you. And is it intention to ask that question? So here's the thing, right? Life forms evolve, and only one cloning species, whatever it may be, makes its way towards something.
Yeah.
After all of that surviving, this something takes this. If all of this fails here, what do you think restarts these cycles off? If it fails. It's got to be one of the most bizarrest things. If indeed something eternally existed, yes?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that guarantee the existence of both?
Yeah.
To keep something black hole and star, could you imagine building a whole ship around those powers? Inside some sort of hardened crystal that neither one can react with. Because to bring pieces of these would be quite the thing for humanity, wouldn't it? You get to fuse things from gas, and you get to then take those things, craft something from it. It gets broken, and break it further back into a gas state to then fuse back up into something else.
Yeah.
bit like hunter-gatherers around the campfire, yes?
Mhm.
The importance to bring that inside the shelter. Outside would not do. No, no. Oh, and some tragic cases of this, which is brutal, mate, is when the winds get strong and it rips apart those woven shacks.
Mhm.
That's interesting. Very fascinating. And the fire's still burning, although in a mess. Man, that's what they would have called hard times, right? And it had created a frustration. Anyway, bringing the fire inside. Probably would understand in modern, back then, would be the modern, would be the sun burns.
Mhm.
The sun teaches me goodness. When this thing feels warm, how do you know it's coming from there? The building process starts. Wonderful, yes. So you bring all of this stuff in. So you bring the universe, although this is a fascinating thing here. This is the problem. This is the only problem with it. That when the universe starts expanding and then starts to transition into a collapsing stage,
Yeah.
you start to run out of objects.
Mhm.
But life, oof, that beast of a thing, begins to expand more. Cloning, different things like that. It really begins to start off very slow. It's very late to the party, indeed. And it begins to expand faster, therefore requiring more resources at a problem when those resources start to get consumed very quickly. And therefore you have a time limit. There is the peak or the height of summer, isn't there?
Mm.
That's the peak.
Yeah.
And with your numbers expanding like it is, and these get smaller, and oof, what do you need?
Mhm.
And then you're suppressed for X amount of time. Maybe you've got enough to survive it, but maybe you don't have enough to keep the cycles going. Anyway,
Mhm.
beyond that, maybe some sort of weird catastrophe happens when it all explodes and rips you apart and pops a piece, just one piece of bone fragment. And could you imagine having a technology that takes that whole fragment, that life form, from anywhere and begins to go backwards with it very fast? A piece of software designed for scanning it,
Mhm.
looking at it, pulling it apart, and is very good at defusing the life. But after all, life is fusing. Right now, you're currently in fusion motion. But imagine being able to defuse it without defusing it. Keep going backwards. Keep going backwards. Keep going backwards. Now, this should break out into something else. No, this is weird. Keep going backwards from that point.
Mhm.
And then you're left with some clues. What is this? Keep going backwards a little bit further. And you start to pin down stars. Particularly. Keep going backwards until you hit a buffer zone. Perhaps it's within the walls of what this can be. You take it all the way back to, let's say, hydrogen. What do you have in that small fragment piece of a puzzle? Well, enough power to look at that and get part of the story, especially if this whole thing is very calculated. And you can rebuild a whole new universe over that. You've gone all the way back to hydrogen. And it's very small, yes? You'd say it's very small. But now with that data going backwards, you begin to clone it, which expands it, makes it more of what it is. And then you rotate forwards and then begin to fuse it. Now this time, when you're going to come back with it. And imagine if you could do this faster and faster and faster, because that's, after all, what is the efficiency of the universe? What is an efficiency of the planet? What is the efficiency of life? The optimal operating capacity. What we call normal is barely clinging on. Even yourselves, you're barely clinging on. Come on. If you've got nothing to compare it to, yeah, there's no looking mirror. There's no one way or the other. We look at life and we see it barely clinging. We say, natural. Why is it natural? How can it be natural when you have seasons? Times that it has to shut down. Did it want to shut down? Well, no, it evolved to shut down. But why did it evolve to shut down? So now all of a sudden, reality, life, is now evolving this and shaping this type of behavior. Starts to create a behavior of a time that you really love and a time that you really hate. Now, if we were to section that out and give this to the evolutional strain a little bit more potently, do you think evolution with enough time would be able to straighten this out? Make it into more of a nicer life form?
Yeah.
How many extinction events do you think that would need? Meaning, let it expand, see if it calms down with the same technology. If it doesn't, isolate it next cycle. It'll start again, more enhance. Channel. Improvement. Because that would be like taking a very tormented part and seeing if you can fix that, right? Here's another thing, behavior. Could you imagine resurrecting a hunter-gatherer in Star Wars? No. Could you imagine hunter-gatherers resurrecting someone from Star Wars? Would the behaviors fit? Well, this one's shaped by space and all of that knowledge. Would that behavior fit in that timeline?
Hunter-gatherer.
Resurrecting a fucking real deep, multiple traveled space.
Yeah, that probably works, doesn't it? If someone multiple travels and it's the...
And then they come back and live a little bit of life, trying to calm the species down. How insightful do you think that would look? They would start building things, wouldn't they? They would start making things to try and... Why are you doing that? Don't know. But it's not normal. Yeah, I also fucking know that. And they start acting in a very strange way to everybody else. Everyone else is going to lean into that. What stories do you think they can have?
I don't know.
You know.
So
The one, perhaps, it's still intact.
Yeah.
It gets bursts of insight.
Yeah.
Would that look like a sage? Would that look like a deity?
Yeah, I see.
Can you temper behavior? How do you get past the behavior? I'm always going to act like this. So if you could begin to resurrect the past. Now, here's another thing. If you go back far enough, you then have a cycle of part life and also part the foundation that allowed it to rise up in.
Yeah.
Maybe you've never seen this happen before. I don't know, maybe there were some species, right, that got really intelligent, really advanced, right, and they created this self-fulfilling prophecy of power that could be moved into movement across the universe, right? They put loads of resources into it. They got inside it all of these beautiful, wonderful things, and then they hit fire and something went wrong. This left them for a very long time bottlenecking throughout the fucking universe, just... They never ever hit a star. The whole universe wind down and they popped inside it and ended up exploding the whole universe, which ironically managed to stabilize. The ship just needed a bang on the side, perhaps.
Yeah.
But ironically, it saved them. But they missed a lot of it. Then if you were to take that piece, and living inside this, existing, where you're not affected by death, but you are. But you have a choice to be affected by it or not. Tempered. What would you understand about yourself? Well, each time you say, I feel like there's to remove a piece, you feel pretty good. This feels all right. Let go of some of that behavior, dead weight and everything else. And then the next ones grow after a bit of time, and they also got this feeling they just cannot shake, that they feel that there's too... Why? Because they're being shaped by the fucking environment that they're in now. There are parts about it that they don't like, and parts about it that they do. And this begins to sort of split the vessel. It's almost like life shedding in another direction. Could you imagine putting a whole load of clone around that? After all, this evolution is going to evolve. It doesn't care what you think. It doesn't care what you think is possible. You go to space, you're going to trigger something. Why? Because it's in your skin, right? You're experiencing sunlight. So therefore, it's going to calculate that it knows you're this far away from the star. Well, how does it know? Well, how did the star know to slip these bits of information in? There's your starting point. You might as well call these starts. This is a finish. This is a sort of in-between stage.
Yeah.
Do you ever see it that way? How do you temper behavior when it's been shaped and everybody clutches onto their... Just imagine just start resurrecting motherfuckers and you're futuristic, got all of this weird sort of strange fucking tattoos emanating from you.
Either they will...
No one has ever seen it before.
They will worship you or they will lynch you. I don't know which one. Depends.
So you try and do it so that it's their background being lifted up. They're living in this. How do you shift your behavior?
How?
Yeah, that's a very interesting... When life seems to ripple outwards and then come back and then go forwards with these variations and then expand more. All it takes is one piece of information. Factor it in, if you can put it into it, that if all the species turn into clones, a bit like plants, yes, deviations and different things like that, but I would also have deviations to the clones too, wouldn't you? If you could, you cut out bits you don't like, right?
Yeah.
Or delete. But it's not that simple. I know I'm not a person with computers. Come on. So what you're saying is you just don't want this bit, yeah? I thought learning the German language was the longest one. Is it German language is the longest words?
They have very long words, yeah.
But it is very patterny.
Okay.
Are these the longest words?
I don't know if longest, but they stick them together to make one word.
It's like computer code, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sort of multicultural language, though. Interesting, yeah. So yeah, behavior shapes you, which then makes you lock down in bed. Assuming you're not placed. And assuming you are placed in a weird way, planted, better way to say it, and then you evolve up naturally. And then with these many different fragments, how much could you put this in? Because when you start to understand that, well, everything else is just a... And do you think that this evolutional star node is pointing towards north? Not just pointing towards it, it's going to maneuver that way. You are to follow it, like the guiding light. Because it's leading you somewhere. Maybe into a big spider's mouth that likes eating life forms. Space spider with its web, and all of these stars are just, it just likes cups of hot, molten mineral. But there again, why would it eat you if it's eating that? I mean, yeah. You never know, maybe it's the taste.
Maybe.
Maybe they're just too hot. You've been cooked just right. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Wouldn't put it past you though, because you do this to other life forms. Could you imagine if humans went out? They'd have like sort of sheep owl. Okay, cows and sheep on this one. Hybrid of cow sheep.
Yeah.
Pig horse.
Yeah.
These will begin to grow. Oh, should we go back round Earth? Yeah, I think we should go and have a feast. Yeah, that would be a brutal thing, wouldn't it? Do you think that would be brutal?
Yeah.
My word, what kind of fucking evolution is this? Look, we've all been through some tough times. Welcome aboard. Well done. Anyway, but it's designing to shape. So the thing is creating a belief system, a behavior, which then locks you down, shapes you, changes you. And also to have the ability to release it and bed down on something else. Which is then the transition stage. Do you think with the right things said, it will make you remember something?
Okay.
And therefore, if you reverse this whole piece from the universe all the way backwards, and somewhere in a biome away from this, you had the ability to clone that. Because you would be a clone yourself and everything else would, so therefore this would shape your behavior, right? Cloning is possible. A true death is not possible. Whereas the hunter-gatherers will be like, wait, what? Hang on, I thought you believed in some of this shit. We did. Right, there you are. Well done. Look at that. How did you predict that? How did you sense that? Which could then put you on a lot of programs, wouldn't it? Could you imagine before you go to resurrect them into... They start picking up on this knowing. Now, would that fascinate you? Would that intrigue you enough to look into that? Like, let's just say your bloodline makes it and they're like, oh my days, this scientist comes out, female and male together, they're husband and wife, they spent their whole careers over this stuff, yeah? Come bursting out with this breakthrough that they figured out a way to resurrect your past. But behavior. Look, come on. We can't have some of these running wild on this ship. Come on. It'd be very sacred. With your little fucking star burning over there. If we can call it burning. And you got your little black hole over there. Would you build a ship with this? This would be fucking everywhere. If you figure out stars.
Yeah, you could do that, couldn't you?
Surrounded by the central star. The suspended star. The one that's not too hot. And it's also not too cold. Just aggravate it. And as you go with this new behavior, yes, so shaping your behavior, so I'm just trying to apply it, yes? You won't be all get out the place.
Yeah.
A lot of it would be like this, right? Everyone will go in spacesuits and everyone will find, it's just not quite what I'm, I just need freedom in my fingers. Perhaps, yeah?
Yeah.
But do we have to go down there? Oh, come on, miss, I don't want to go down on a fucking planet. Yeah, but we've got to. No. Let's send robot. We'll watch from here and we'll make it run around and do lots of weird and wonderful stuff. Look, I just really not up for the expedition. Why? It's going to take like 3 months for us to even get used to that shit before we can even walk properly. Yeah, the bouncing on the moon, right? Do you notice all the little creatures seem to do this as well?
Yeah.
And their ratio to jump is a lot higher. Yeah, that's fascinating. Some of it bounces across the planet. Now, is that because gravity is mimicking that?
Yeah.
If you see the ones that jump across the planet, if you could in some way make some sort of pressure chamber and the right oxygen and gases and everything else, if you put these on the moon, would they walk?
Who knows? I don't know.
I mean, that would be a hell of a contrast, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Which would then probably tell me that they're. So you probably could live in an environment like this if it was pressurized up. I've got to ask one more question because I know I fucking would. Inside your ship, yes?
Yeah.
Around a massive, massive, polished off fucking harder than diamond, more clarity than a diamond.
Yeah.
Shaped into a beautiful looking dish.
Yeah.
Would you put your own universe inside it?
Mhm.
Mini,
Mini?
but still there.
Yeah. Like a little gem. Yeah.
Would you edit it?
Yeah.
Would you have loads of these?
I don't know if loads of these, but yeah.
Some way you could tweak the planets. Some way you could make it skip out certain. Is the stars periodic table showing us the full story?
It's just what we know.
Yeah, but is that periodic table just like an iceberg? Maybe there are other elements inside it, but during the explosion, it turns these into the more simpler ones.
I know.
And therefore, these other ones get lost. Do you think? Do you think it's telling you the full truth? That's the full story?
Maybe.
Hang on, we're finding bits of this. Wait, hold on a second. No star has ever exploded. What the hell is this shit? Yeah, we thought stars popped all their guts. They do, but they're not. This is different somehow. Much like diving into the sea, yeah?
Yeah.
Imagine diving into the sun. Not you personally, of course, but making something that could withstand that.
Yeah.
Then I'd take a sample from out here. What if it tells a different story?
Yeah.
That's another paradigm shift, yes? With that in mind, I'd have more scrutiny about this.
Yeah.
If it's different, it's being told to skip chapters. And then would you let life run rampant in it? And if that's what they can do when they're that small, could you imagine what they could do when they were this big? And there's that many of them? Fucking hell, I don't know. Calm down, you're starting to create another personality. Fucking right I am, there's a little bit of fear here. The irony, the past will fear the future, and the future fears the past.
Yeah.
Go forward enough into the future and look backwards at the past. Fucking scary, man.
Yeah.
And you'll sort of look at the future and people are like, oh my god, they're fucking scary. Wait, okay.
Yeah. Different everything.
Which I wonder if this would be really good, actually. The two scarednesses cancel each other out, don't they? Or are they going to act irresponsibly in fear if they ever were to meet? I mean, that's an interesting...
Who can tell?
Which might then start to leave you on the discovery for conscious extraction. That sounds really weird, doesn't it? Like, wait, what? What the hell is that?
Yeah. What is that?
Your awareness being lifted. Oh, this is going to be some fucked up AI database, I can tell you. And do you think you need the whole species to change the behavior? Or do you think you just need one variable to change the behavior, the outlook, which then maps the mind in a certain way, which is then data to make all of the other minds evolve this way? So that'd be like an active experiment, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Would you want to watch life just play out in this? No, of course you bloody don't. You'd go further, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Well, you would. Was it the dog got its head transplanted?
Yeah.
That's a fascinating thing I ever saw. Just once, maybe twice, okay? Third time, probably not. But even still, fascinating, very fascinating. So factor in, you're looking at life from a distance, unable to do anything about it, or you're able to edit it step by step. All of it, at any moment. Edit it. Bits get missed out. Bits get added in.
Yeah.
This would be like some sort of sick computer game, wouldn't it?
Hmm.
Sir, your people of planet's people have just metastasized. So have yours. Ready for battle? Oh yes, get in there. That would be a weird fucking... But do you think it would happen with this behavior? It would, wouldn't it? So do you think as you evolve,
Yeah.
the tools get more better? Therefore, the thoughts begin to adjust to this new...
Yeah, and looking for improvements constantly.
And then what's connected to those thoughts? Some sort of guide, but to where? To what? And then we start to do an analyst to it. We compare this force. It's invisible, right?
Yeah.
But it's definitely leading. Can you really trust where your thoughts are coming from? No. Your thoughts must be clearly different to what animals are having. Their thoughts are suspended in a sort of cycle. They're just suspended.
Mm-hmm.
You can suspend a star. You can suspend a universe.
Mm-hmm.
Fascinating. Yours isn't.
Yeah.
But how do you think? Do you need to have thoughts taught to you?
I don't know. I don't think so, do you?
I don't know if you can map the mind and map where these thoughts are coming from. Next question. If you could somehow put it then a chip into an animal that you notice clearly is not having this type of process, that could understand the animal that it's going into, and it can also make sense of that data to give it to you, and also make sense of the data that you put into it. And you started giving it some of these thoughts, and given enough time, do you think that that would change? Again, it would be a question you would have to ask. Why could you not let some go natural? You could. Why could you not let some go like this? And why couldn't some just have it slightly altered?
Yeah.
That would make you ask even more of a question. And then could you begin to unlock? That's kind of the technology, isn't it? And then if that happens, it seems weird. If we can use the word if, it's all fiction until we, maybe not.
Yeah.
If that begins to alter the mind, the thoughts, is it going to start to behave in a different way? Now, does it become ally? Does it become like, oh shit, should we do more? What happens if you do it to cow? Can you do it to an earthworm? Is it even possible to do it to an earthworm? I was thinking maggot. Yeah, well, that's the same difference, I think. Which would be then making you ask even more deeper questions, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Are we doing this? So wait. Is anyone asking this question? I know this is all fascinating. We're pulling party poppers and everything else. But if that can happen to them and we just did that, who did it to us?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be fascinating, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So certain life forms are sort of slipping notes between each other then.
Yeah.
And the mutations. There seems to be something slipping in, data in these moments.
Yeah.
Yeah, the star knows how to be a star and does a fantastic job of being a star, right? But then it also knows how to teach all of these elements as well. You act like this. When you're frozen, respond like this. When you're looked at high speed, look like this. What happens if something hits me? Yes, hitting. You're going to be stronger than all of these things apart from that. And this, and that, and this. And maybe a few of those, and anything else out of that. Okay, sounds like a fair deal. Good, good, off you go. What happens if I get hot? You're a melt. And it does a fantastic job. Life forms, that's interesting. And some of them have got this extra bit of information slipped in. Well, we call it intelligence, yeah?
Yeah.
Are you kind of doing it all this way? Do you want to do it this way? Or are you capable of doing it this way? And then everyone will have the same question. Let me just think about it. What's in it for me? What's in it for us? Yeah, what do we get? Eternal life. I thought that was the devil. That's interesting. Something so evil wants to give the very thing that apparently a creator would give you in the first place, being all of this existence, unless we've all been cast down here. Yeah. Then it would make us all devil. Welcome aboard. Welcome, and everyone. When really both of these forces sort of teach you, don't they?
Yeah.
Teach you a behavior. So your behavior will shift in space. There's not really much left here anymore. Like the end of Christmas.
Yeah. When everything's gone.
And the star system here, the solar system, looks pretty big, yeah? Do we start devouring it, transforming it? What are you going to make it into? More denser objects? Well, yes, then that's going to utilize a lot of that in order to crush it down, especially if we're thinking fusion. Man, you might even learn it from the star. Ball us a few things in there. You want the heat and pressure, but you also want to remove out what's been heated and pressurized. So it needs to stay together.
Yeah.
Cluster. And you get to sort of change your elements this way. Sort of like fishing in a star. What are you doing? Element. Same thing over a black hole. What are you doing? Better defusing. Each one's a well, you see. Yeah, we had this planet, right? There were wells, and we used to go and get water. And you know what? We did the same thing. Do you think it's a sign? Someone over there holding up ink splats.
Yeah.
What's this? Yes, because pattern recognition was schizophrenia, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And probably other mental illnesses as well.
Yeah, it needed fast treatments of like lobotomy and electric shock therapy and
and cold showers and stuff like that. Yeah.
So yeah. Some fucking weird technology. Anyway, the point is that each trimester you go through, things begin to shape your behavior. So, solar system in abundance, you start transforming it. And then maybe you have a little bit of guilt. Some people will be really activists against you for destroying Jupiter. How dare you do that? Yeah, we're going to have planetary protection societies. Is that sounds pretty good, actually. That sounds pretty good. That sounds awesome. And then the star. Maybe you start draining that off and it's looking a bit sorry for itself, you know? Still living. Still living? We leave this living? Yeah, we'll leave it living. And then it's going to take X amount of time to reach.
Yeah.
And therefore that becomes a... Why can't we be there already? Patience.
Yeah.
In this slow, arduous process, the universe is going to carry on evolving. Therefore, how quick is that evolving to transform into the next part of the cycle versus your collecting at that slow ratio?
Yeah.
How does that fit on a map? And then when your numbers start to expand by a prediction,
Yeah.
do you have enough to sustain that? If not, that's then the starting to collapse of the universe. Recycling. That very early on would be failure. It wouldn't work. Brutal. So you become understanding that time is a factor, but also the cycle. You've got to beat the cycle. You could look at Mayan calendar if you want to. There is a time limit for this. By that time, what was once expanded, this one is contracted.
Yeah.
So it seems that your life and life forms are small in number. And all of this is very big, all going on. But given the amount of time it would take you to collect what you need, the universe begins to contract. It's also expanding, but if you don't understand fast enough and further enough, then your species are going to be hitting a margin. And let's just say in some miracle, just like that, you're able to protect all of that. You're going to be living on life support for a long winter. Then eternity has a price. Especially if it goes fuck up midway. That's brutal. Do you think that would be brutal?
Yeah.
I think that would be very brutal.
Yeah.
So, yes, this always has a link into the body to shut you down. Isn't that interesting? It's almost like a giver and a taker, and also a constanter.
Yeah. It is, isn't it?
And it's been making notes of all of you. Individually, collectively. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, it is.
You know it knows you. And you could look at this as a database going forwards.
Yeah.
You're now starting to build up on avatars, aren't you? You're now starting to build up a database of knowledge, of information. Well, if you make your own little universe, think about that. What could you learn from that? From all life forms that are some rising up, some successful, some not, some intelligent, others not. In another one, some tweaked. Does it all go wrong? Is it cloned? Is it the same? Why would you have one? You wouldn't. You would have multiple. You'd clone the ass out of it. Some you would treat this. Which one creates the best vessel? And whether they know about it or they don't, the information. But go up to this little piece here and say, make this one. Make these. And then think about what could be unlocked. Well, it depends on anything that's already unlocked something else. And then do you think with our behavior now, it would shape anything else's behavior watching you? What if they cleanse to create a type vessel to a certain degree? Knowing that that is cleansed, then watching life forms will act a certain way of this watching, which will then start to create some sort of feeling. It's just the impact without ever engaging has been read. Now, could you imagine taking that information and putting it into a larger database? Yeah, that would be an interesting sort of patterned reaction to watch a ripple effect. To be changed some way. Anyway, lazy is going to be the generations going forwards. They're going to get a lot lazier.
Yeah.
Is it lazier, or is it thinking exactly how humans should? Thinking smart
Yeah.
and allowing the smart thinking to work hard.
Yeah.
You know, it's much more efficient and faster to use robotics. Optional, if people want to go and get in there with that, then that should be an option.
Yeah.
And it should be granted. For the ones that don't, there's a control pad. This begins to desensitize them to the fear of space. It is a fear. Do you think it's a fear? Does it make panic on some of these? It used to. It used to really get you, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yes,
People look up in awe, don't they, at night? Especially in old times when there was no light pollution and you could see even more than.
I think only in certain times did they see the stars, depending on what trimester they came through. Because there's one thing I've noticed here. No one is admiring stars when it's cold. Have you not noticed that? Seems to be less, more in the summer.
Yeah.
But when it's cold, I don't care about the bloody stars. We just want to get home. It's too cold. Come on. It's almost like an ancient fear. Some sort of canopy has gone.
Yeah. Too cold.
Being too cold helped you understand heat for a lot of the time, which likewise also helped you understand cold. Fascinating.
Yeah.
Which that behavior serves you well for space. To learn hot and to learn cold. And then you learn a little bit more that there are different levels of this thing called heat. When we look at fire burning, we should look at it in layers. We should look at it like an onion.
Yeah.
Truly, if we draw in fire correctly, it should be onion layered. Intensity.
Yeah.
So we think the star would be much the same, but would also then want to assume then, safely, the black hole is that in reverse. Onion layer. Bizarre intensities in both. And then this hot and cold, and this helps you to understand it. Then, if you've evolved correctly, and indeed, how would I know if you evolved? It's not like I can exactly bump up evolution, can I, and be like, yo, this is going to happen. They don't understand. No, it understands by feeling.
Yeah.
So sensors into your skin. The light intensity has changed. Wait a minute, there's a stable temperature. Hold on a minute, stable okay, so I can cut back on sweating a little bit. I can also cut back on this. Okay, kick that down. How much energy can I save? It's going to go off and calculate some more things. It never stops. By feeling.
Yeah.
It no longer needs to protect your skin. Not as much as it did. That's like a finally trigger.
Yeah.
Do I need to protect your eyes as much? No, you've got the right ratio balanced. It's almost like you know the interior really well. What your body needs.
Yeah.
And this thing, I reckon this is connected. I think it's connected quite a bit to all life forms. It's weird, isn't it, to say that?
Yeah.
So collectively feeling, individually, that it's going to put down, so a few people on top. Do you know what that's going to look at it as? It's going to dismiss that data as just variable noise. Flukes, just what happens. I must have just let go. Those small variables, not enough. It knows itself and it knows it's going to expand.
Yeah.
But it also understands that dominant life forms will often try and take this force over. So a self-defense mechanism has woven in. That's an amazing bit of technology there. So the small clusters would just be looked at as noise, because it would understand that it would have to feel it over the species. And then it depends on what are those levels of those species. Is it where it's meant to be? Is it where I calculated it to be? Then across a species starts to feel something on all their senses. This must trigger something of, accurate number. Am I on schedule? No. Am I behind schedule? Yes. If any way we look at it, if we were to get moving now, by the time that humanity were to even get anywhere near moving with the amount that's already about, you would find yourselves about here process. It's not very long. And ironically, for the life to start flourishing at the moment would be good enough to be back here. This is a time. This is your time. Time factored on clocks. But what is your clock? Yours is a watch. This is a star versus black holes, right?
Yeah.
And when they begin to transition, breathe, pulse, whatever.
Yeah.
That's a clock. It'd be pointless to measure that in hours. And then it gives you a few moments to read time, which is done by calculating. So the life is going to expand. Anyway, along with all of these little sensors that are in, it's going to kick up something else. So therefore, that should trigger, just be enough to trigger cloning. That should be it. That should be what should do it. Once it begins to feel all of those things and it isn't variable, because that would just be dismissed, just noise. Oh, that happens. Oh, there's a pattern to that. Which there is a pattern to that. If you saw a pattern to that in data, would you just ignore it as just noise?
Pattern.
Okay, let me give you another example. If this was to detect incoming nuclear threat,
Yeah.
those variables kept sticking up in the pattern.
Then someone should.
Are you going to be
look at
sending all your nukes just based on that?
No.
No, you'll be sending all your nukes when all of that or a large amount of that versus a few variables that dip down, that didn't push up in that sequencing. That's when you would push back. So if you kept getting the same variable pattern, so from one generation to another generation, you're giving the same pattern.
Yeah.
That's a variable. It's disregarded. Because across the species, it's not being experienced. Therefore, that is just noise in the pattern. That's not enough to make it trigger anything. So therefore, a whole collective. We're often very good as societies to do things very different.
Yeah.
But has there ever been a society that's just let things flow? That's the question. Every single time they've resisted.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that trend? Resist, 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 resist.
Yeah.
Fear, resistance, worship, resistance, bow. If aliens ever landed, you would all get on your fucking, you would bow? You're being taught that higher power is not a threat. That is so So dangerous. Which, I don't know. That's interesting, right? You got to be indestructible. You had to survive the planet with all the beasts. If the stories be told, big beasts. You're going to have to survive a universe with them. While hunting and gathering. Fascinating. Oof. Now, difference is, these are intelligent. So more often than not, the correct process for it would be that they share. That's a behavior, that is. Share. Now, could you imagine if everyone in that, rather than coming into desperation and not looking at any of this stuff, it's a very recipe for disaster, isn't it?
Yeah.
But if they were able to share, which ones do you think would succeed? None of them because they didn't share. A few of them because they did. Do you think it will work that way? Or do you think that this stuff is related in some way to the life forms across? And therefore, each different version of this coming in from a different angle is basically tuned that. I would like this as a computer, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
If you found other life forms with a similar sort of process, but they're coming from it from this direction, how much more could you amplify your system? And this one is tweaked the evolution this way. You don't mind, do you? No? Oh, wonderful. I guess that's everybody coming in collected from the universe, right? To put all of that together.
Yeah.
To combine all of that.
Cooperate.
You will be trying to extract it. What's that? That's nice try. But if you, this is something that we, oh wow, that's awesome. Can we put ours in there? Sure. If you're generally not a threat and you have no hidden agenda, there would be no problem with that. In fact, it would expand what you've got. Why? Because your capability, your knowledge of how to build that, that's with you, the key. They'll only look at that and wonder and be like, how the fuck? You'll be like, oh yeah, you can do this as well with it. Fuck it. And even when you've shown them everything of your capability, 2 years go by, you've made massive upgrades since then, and you've played around with it, and now you've got it to do some new things. You will always run ahead. Maybe they'll come in with a few ideas. You try it, it works, sometimes it doesn't. There's no harm. But even the ones that do, you would have never got that information without just a little bit of their help. They don't fully understand it. You fully understand it. And could watch that from a distance, but you'd have to watch it all the way. Now once you've got a few pieces of that, like you've got a few pieces of the universe, and if you were to, can you make your own of those? And can you add even more to this? And what does it start to do then? What is it all for? Does it protect you? Now, if you succeed that and go through the dark time and it spits you back out, and once again, it starts taking off. How many of you are there? How much abundance could you gather? Shit me, could you make a universe inside a universe? I think you could. One that's very different type of planets, right? So we've gone for more energy efficient stars. We're going to put an Edison over there. What happens when these lights run out? They explode. Like a star. Either or, still fascinating. And then you've got longer amount of time. How much could you learn on the journey the second time? I'm assuming We're walking through fiction. Let's walk right through it. Cloning is the key. Going backwards, and then you'll find the blocks. If you're mixed with anything else, you've all got many different blocks. What happens if you combine these?
Yeah.
Which I suppose could be a bit more of a gentler placement. What could you do with that? And then how long have you got to grow intelligence? And if you're cloning and hold on to this raw material that you've got, can you condense it? Pick up where you left off.
Yeah.
Yep, that would be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Being shaped by behavior, but behavior is shaped by everything that comes in. So if you're living in space, you might not want to do as much. Lethargic.
Yeah.
But you would think smart. In those moments where you zone out maybe, and you've got access to tell the coordinates for the next 40 days. Maybe you sit there for a hard week, just crunching. This thing is already getting on with it. Check in on it. In that time, a few more have been deployed.
Yeah.
That's an upgrade. Which sounds really expensive, doesn't it? Doesn't that sound expensive? Do you think that sounds expensive?
Yeah.
What's the cost of not doing it? What's more expensive, money or life?
Life. But many people don't want to see.
Money you can get back, right?
Yeah.
Money always finds its way.
Yeah. Money in whatever value. But life is only one.
And while having a structure that you have, climb with it. And then start to wind this one down and grow this one.
Yeah.
That's a transition. That's a smooth process, that is.
Yeah.
And shit me, you would ever need that if you were ever resurrected.
Yeah.
In the terms of your species doing it. Because that will help you navigate backwards. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
And after all, understand this has created you once. With that knowledge, it should know every variation of what you are.
Yeah.
What a force. And we're operating on a planet that's limited operation. We're limited, we're not in an optimal operating. We're clinging.
Yeah.
You're clinging to life. That's clinging to life on a planet that we have dumbed ourselves down by saying it's natural. But natural for who? Natural for what? That is a behavior. So therefore, it's had to change a type of pattern. So we have an optimal life, how we want to live, an ideal. Do you think everything has that?
Yeah. In one or different way.
You like to feel cool when it's hot, and you like to feel hot when it's cool?
Well, I think you like to feel in the
happy
middle.
Temperature.
Yeah, happy. Happy temperature in
But
both.
happy temperature fluctuates. Even when you hit the line, it can't stay steady. You will lose the benefit of the doubt if it fluctuates, pulses. A hot followed by a cool, an on-off, on-off.
Yeah.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
But your body here, gravity, the on-off ratio, could your heart beat faster?
Yeah. Or slower.
Or if it beats faster, and let's say we evolve in space, would the heart beat faster? If it is beating faster, does that supply more nourishment to the brain? Does the brain utilize and turn oxidized blood into carbon the more faster you think?
No,
Is there a change in
yeah,
what it needs?
it depends
If you could
on.
really analyze
Yeah.
the human body in these moments, you would get a large amount of data, wouldn't you?
Mm.
So the more you think, does this push? Do you use more carbon? Do you use less?
Mm.
What happens to the blood?
Yeah, how your lung operate, how whatever you ate, so whatever nutrients you have, how you can absorb oxygen.
The brain is like a muscle, do they say? Or is it the heart? The heart is more like a
Heart
muscle.
is muscle,
But
definitely.
do you think the brain is?
Brain is like a tissue, isn't it?
Yeah, I know tissue, but even still, though, in the sense that the more you use it,
Yeah. Yeah, that people say that, don't they? Use it or lose it, so like muscle. Think, work with it. But supply it as well. If you don't supply it properly, you lose memories and
mm. But there again, I don't know. You're going to be in an expanded environment, so you need an expanded environment to live, or that will affect your behavior. Confined,
yeah.
that's only for a few. So you'll become hermits.
Yeah.
That would be interesting, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In the beginning, if you can then you transform indeed into clones, yeah, you'll be less hermit. A lot of your core will be hermit. The rest of it, not so much. Antisocial at best, right? Or anti-planetary works. But there again, I think the minds will enhance your thoughts and community.
Yeah.
Creativity, do you think that would play a role?
Mm-hmm.
Being able to have abundance of resources to create. And then how much creativity can you compact into a time from here to here? That would be interesting, wouldn't it? And traditions are good during that process. They'd have to get a lot longer though, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
And if you are at one star system to another star system and kids are born, your astrological charts are gonna get very complex, aren't they?
Yeah.
If you were this, and this born in the Orion sector at this particular ratio, this is gonna see. There's more in it for everyone, isn't there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's gonna need a load of stuff thinking up, isn't it? What happens if you survive long enough that the galaxies merge?
What should happen?
Hmm?
It looks different.
It's gonna look
Yeah.
different, yeah.
We are in different area, different space. Look at that.
Look at that. So after X amount of years, that thing's antique. A strange little map.
Yeah. Yeah, you will see different stuff and maybe you will find out different stuff.
What do you think the first thing is everybody tries to do when the universe restarts the cycle?
I don't know. They are there all the time, so I don't know.
They go to the origin spot.
Yeah, they do. What is origin spot?
Well, when you traverse the universe,
Yeah.
you're going to be taking data of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it is going to make a map.
Mm-hmm. But is it always the same?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the question.
That is the
How
question.
do you know?
By seeing,
You don't know.
by waiting,
Yeah.
by looking.
You might find on your way better spot than the origin spot.
That's a giver. You're going to be wasting a bit of time waiting.
And you don't know what was before because maybe it's the first time and you don't know, or you were somewhere else. Maybe you'll find even different spot that you didn't know.
Well, it would be predicted though, wouldn't it? Could you imagine prepping for something like that?
Yeah.
So that when it does indeed, it lands you close to the area. That would be a hell of amount of prediction, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And then that would be based on assumptions. Now, if that worked, that would blow all of the humans on board their minds as to how calculated that was, and it was done on assumption. Now, they're in the area, right? And things are starting to form.
And maybe you don't want to be in those spots at all, and you found out that there are different places where it's better. Somewhere around nebulas or something. Completely different. But you have to collect your data to know that.
So what do you reckon if you have a lot of life forms that come together from multiple different directions? Do you think that they
maybe that's where you
make
meet.
a map?
That's where you meet in the beginning.
A universal map.
Yeah.
And then another fluky pattern.
Yeah.
What if you, in those particular alignments, let's say if a species comes from here, species comes from here. And let's say they meet in a clustered area, yes?
Yeah.
Nice. I'll do a few more there. What if you had enough to map from your maps? Assuming that they took them. The entirety of the Soho. What do you reckon would be the mindset on board if something like that happened? That they accidentally just did this because they felt it, and they managed to map the entirety of both star systems either side, even the stuff in the further distances, that put into a database was enough to relatively map the... Which will make you ask a question, especially if you were on land with water around. How did you map the terrain?
Yeah.
I just don't know. Back in the day, I would be like, "Yo, look at this! What's this? This is a map of our nation, by the way. Can I have a copy? Of course you can. See you later. Yeah, look, I got this from them. Look at this. This is their landmass. Look at that. We can attack here, 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 and here. Unless I gave them a map that was full of shit. Oh God, I gotta make everybody believe this map is bullshit. What is this? This is our nation. And if I do this, I can see. Look at this. Is it? Yeah, there you are. And what the Spanish are like. It was the Spanish, wasn't it? Some sort of war?
Yeah, Spanish went to Southern America and got all the gold there, didn't they? But then it didn't help them because now they are kind of not very rich country.
I don't think we are. Join the club. Yeah, I don't know how we get rich if we're a nation of war.
Yeah, but they lost even before you, Spanish, even though they were richer than you probably at that time. At one point around Elizabethan times, you know, they were always like to the Southern America and back, bringing all the gold from all those nations like there were before. Mayans, Toltecs, Aztecs, they were in all those areas. And who knows who else. They robbed those nations of gold, didn't they? And then Portugal went to some of those, but not that many. And now what? Now they are average country, Spain. They are still kingdom, but
Strange, but yeah. Well, a lot of questions on that. So
always a lot of questions.
yeah, is it what I wanted to cover? Probably not. Never is. So yeah, everything is all on clinging to life, and you can bring this up.
Yeah.
Yeah. A festival every day.
Yeah.
Roast dinner's on me. Mine's the meat. You know, that could be the. That's an abundance, that is. And what's more, it needs supply and demand, which therefore means expansion. It's your hedge fund, isn't it? Would be much more better than something made of metal.
Yeah.
And also water and purification of the water. Because when it's said and done, that's what means it.
Yeah.
And multi-variety. You see, I think a better way would be to do it is not to look for one particular seed, right? Just be like, oh, it's going to use this particular type of crop. No. In this biome, yeah, I want every known strain. Wait, what? Yeah, every known strain in here. How much room do you need for that? And if you really wanted to get good with it to understand it, you would singleize all of these off, wouldn't you? They'd still mix together. Some you'll keep naturally mixed, yeah, and others you'd isolate. And then you'd add another strain and clone it and isolate that too. And then you can experiment with one, can't you? Overpressurize.
Okay.
Add a little bit more pressure. Slightly change the gases in there. This is no longer clinging. That's a guarantee. That's going to trigger a bigger hormone, a bigger response. What does that look like? I don't know. You probably want somewhere small for all the natural stuff that's perhaps not that relevant. But mainly all of this food. That's constantly exchanging your gases. That means it's awoken during the winter. No sleeping. Come on, we need you awake.
Yeah.
And you want to be awake too. Because if it didn't, it would still respond, but it doesn't. It stops the behavior immediately. That's the interesting thing. So it's open day night. It doesn't drop down any particular time of the season, and its growth ratio is started stabilizing. Whereas before it was more likely towards the springtime, this thing started to produce more. No, it's now producing that same moreness across. I don't know, it's like every day. I'm going to have to say that. So that's an interesting sort of pattern there. And when it gets to a certain height, it then begins the expansion. So
Yeah.
so the leaves begin to expand. So it's stabilizing. Now, if it's optimal operating and it wanted to operate in the wild as it does indoors, why would there be a change? So in the wild, it shuts down, barely gets a few months. Then it shuts down, then grows for a few months, shuts down. You can understand this pattern is its life force, the strobe effect. Bit like our heartbeats. If you could speed these up, is that why people run? They're trying to speed everything up. They say they like the runner's high, but is that really a runner's high, or is that your body starting to operate at optimal what it could do? And the feeling you're doing it for, not the arduous, back-breaking realization that you've got to run a long way to understand all of that. No, you're doing it for that snippet high. You're chasing the high, which is a state. So us on the planet, our body has adapted to shut down. Therefore, it must starve off our life force. So the plant that comes up only a few months of the year is only growing per that strobe. Is basically like 3 months, yes? And then the rest of the year, the light is off. Then on, then it's off. And do that over millennia. You can see that this plant already is going to run into some difficulties. This is going to be one that's going to be going extinct more so than anything else. because it's not got enough time to learn absolutely everything it needs to. Now, if you take it out of that environment, the thing opens and it stays open all year round. It's making up for lost time. Now, its strobe light is what I would like to call, now we're into a different one. It can exist open during the night and during the day, during the winter and during the summer. But now there's day and night cycle. So yes, it can stay open all year round, but is it its optimal operating? What happens if I subject it to light, day and night, and gave it an in-between stage? So I made it day all the time, apart from at sunrise and sunset. I changed the light cycle there. That's when the lights go dip out. 15 minutes here, 15 minutes perhaps for the in the morning when it's supposed to be more sunrise. Just those ones. Now, if I alter those over the course of the year, can I trigger its flowering? Can it operate further? Then if the answer is yes, then I compare it to the wild, this strobing, and now I compare the one in this environment here. Then it would lead me to come to a logical conclusion that this plant in the wild is not operating at its optimal operating capacity, what it can do. This is. And is there a difference in that? Yes, it's stronger. Yes, it's more resilient. Yes, it's more da-da-da-da-da. It started learning and surviving, altering, cloning, changing, evolving. This one here, you would have seen it slowly start to fall away and go extinct. That's a fascinating thing then. Then you'll start to understand about the planet then. Are we surviving here as best as we can? Or no, we've got a behavior. You need to go to sleep. One part of evolution was like, fucking hell, I don't know. Making all of those capabilities, but then I need to make it lay down for long periods of time and be unaware. I mean, that seems like a bit of something. I don't know if that's quite how things work, do you?
In nature, all things work like that for some time, don't they? In this nature, on this planet. All animals have some time of rest and some time of being up.
Because the environment. So the environment has created that illusion by strobing. Your day and night cycle. You feel cranky when you haven't had enough sleep. You have to sleep. I mean, it's not really. Something said this during the seasons of hibernation. So go back to hunter-gatherers. Probably want to dig down. Probably want to go deeper. Probably not want to do much. Most of the animals do this, if you noticed. They go into torpor. They're not exactly asleep, but they're barely fucking moving either. Food could just drop right past them.
Something and
they don't even do that. In the depths of when it's very cold, they won't even eat. They're barely moving. It's like a very slowed down. It's like divers, deep divers that go down without the equipment. Free divers. They say they get into a state. Yeah, that's what most of the animal kingdom get into. And of course, we've lost grips with it because we're not so much in that winter cycle. We're awake during the winter. We're not bedding down too much. Well, we go inside our houses, yeah, but life doesn't stop. While everything else is sleeping, you're awake. And technically it's not sleeping, it's resting or in torpor. Slowed down an octave or two, huh? And then the brain and the ratio is really slow. So once again, if I take these life forms off a planet and look at it, and what we call natural is anything but. All of that stuff on there, we'll say, oh, it's natural, should we leave it? No, it's not natural. That is unnatural. It is shutting down its life force. If that was to survive extinction, or whether it's going to reach extinction. Does this stuff in this slowdown ratio have enough time to excel to be able to beat extinction? Bit like the plant that's in the wild. This one was in a habitat that was built job specific for it. The results are, which one does the best? And then there's a third variable as well, one that's not subject to this, just in case. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, a lot of comparisons. You take the life here. Can it do better and expand more so? We already know that from the planet. Yes, go past that point. Can it expand more so from there? So we rotate night and day. Owls stepped out of it. How come you don't act like the rest of the other birds? Look at your wings. Look, you're designed for day. What can I say? It's kind of like, nope. I come out at night. It's very wise. Stepping away from a certain pattern. You could say, well, that's because of hunting. Don't know. What's it going for? These things seem to be out quite a bit. Unless they taste different from a different variable, I don't know.
They have big eyes.
So if you could then design an optimal operating capacity around a human, what does it look like? Well, that's a trick question because it factors in a lot of other things. Maybe plankton, which there again, that needs controlling by animals, doesn't it? Yes, whales perhaps, this, that, and the other. You could say coral. You could say all of this, nature, everything else. Well, we really understand that nature's really willing to wake up. I'm up for it. A few of them won't. They take a few cycles before they begin to become either or. So if you stacked an existence 365 days worth of summer harvest festival, can you imagine that? How much would that allow you to all expand? And how much of the gases would that? So compare it to the natural world. Well, it's strobing life on, life off, life on, life off, life on, life off, which has an effect on you. And your body has evolved to make that look and seem very normal. Your brain, gravity and everything else, well, pressure and different things like that. Are you really functioning the best that you can?
Yeah, and the chemicals that are formed in the darkness, melatonin for you to relax and sleep, which you need at the current time.
Do you need it, or has your body adjusted to make do with this?
Well, if you don't have stuff like that, you go bonkers, don't you, if you don't sleep? You have hallucinations, get tired, and you can't live without any sleep. Some people sleep very little, but they still sleep like 4 hours or something.
Do you sleep more in the winter or the summer?
I don't know, that's up to different.
Do you sleep better in the winter or do you sleep better in the summer? Everyone is winter, isn't it? Winter. You get the deepest sleeps in the winter than you do in the summer. That's not by coincidence.
It's darker, it's cooler.
And melatonin and all of this other stuff. You can't create this with artificial light.
You need darkness for melatonin to form, don't you?
Okay.
I don't know though.
I think life has evolved to that.
Yeah, of course it has.
And I think it can evolve back.
Where you are, then it does what it can.
So we're evolved to look after our skin, yes?
Yeah.
It burns and we're then being taught to look after the skin, yes? What's the message in that pain?
Avoid it, whatever burns.
Okay, so then if we go inside a spacecraft, you'll say that we're going to need we're going to need all of that vitamin from the star, which is partly right. Or do you think that there's another? It is no good producing something if you can already get it in another way and make use of that energy to spend that energy so that it doesn't build up. But if you're no longer getting that, do you think this can? And do you think then, if the behavior is different in space, do you think you'll evolve to no longer need sleep?
Maybe. But that one is melanin, isn't it?
Yeah, vitamin D.
Melanin,
Yeah.
yeah. And for sleep, you need melatonin.
Does this hit into a receptor?
I don't know. I didn't study it very much.
So a chemical release, yes?
Yeah.
Which then blocks into a receptor.
That makes you.
Aren't chemicals, you want to think of them as BBs that jump into receptors?
Oh, I don't know.
That's fascinating. And receptors come online and go offline in the human makeup all the time, yes? And there are some that you can't tell or associate what these receptors are. Is that correct?
And we don't know much either, anyway.
So if that is a chemical signature and the brain is responsible for the way you feel, and you're getting that from darkness,
maybe you can create it, I don't have it if you need, or some functioning. I don't know.
Yes, because on the planet that works very well. Off it, no, I don't think it does. I think it will evolve, and I think this is what a large amount of the receptors play a role.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. So yeah, okay, you're cool to believe what you want to believe.
No, I don't.
And I'm going to believe what I need to believe, and I believe in evolution, and I also believe that it's got a lot of things that it's waiting for us to do in order to trigger something, which would then begin to give it a signal. Not a few variables. I think the signal comes collectively, and I think it comes from you personally. Which then, with this free energy, what can it do? And therefore, it would have predicted that if, yes, intelligent, yes, you would have started to maneuver. Yes, if you've been reading these particular signs correctly, you would start to be looking here. More so, you should know that there is extinction events and that life is not promised in a situation like this. Running at more of an optimal capacity, you get to do more.
Yeah.
So you've evolved. So people might be like, hey, we still need to hibernate because we need the chemical signatures. We need to still stay in our cave. We mustn't go out. It
probably doesn't work like that, does it? Where you are, you adapt to that. That's all. Now we are here, then we will be somewhere else. So we'll adapt to something different.
Yeah, making do of a bad situation. And when it lets go of these functions, it's already got some, okay, so then this would mean this, this, and this. Bit like the star, even when it's starting on reasonable gas, is already thinking iron. So is it seeing the full picture, or is there a lure towards that? Interesting, but still. And I think evolution works the same way with that process. It takes in the information from your body, what you eat. An abundance of food a lot of the time. That's a signal. Or what about the letting go of gravity? That's a signal. Immunity now, because bacteria. Sure, you take what is on the earth with you. Of course you do. But you don't interact with it. Eventually, why would you want to go in there? Isn't that like germs? And you'll probably have some matey in there like, yeah, but it's about good immunity. You gotta rub it all over yourself. That's earth stuff, isn't it? It is. That's what they used to do. That makes immunity, that does.
Maybe you need immunity against something completely different.
You know when I said I don't eject anybody off the ship? Yep. I think we're going to eject this one. Do you want to come back in here? You do? Yeah, the door is that way.
Put them in special chamber with their germs.
Where's this one going? To the earth chamber. To do what? Roll in it. Oh, we've been over this. Wrap the helmet. Just before they go to get in there, you put them into a helmet, yes? or whatever it may be. It's just a stupid way of looking at it, but still from a human version, this could be quite funny. Stick a helmet over them, and then they're like, they think that they're walking into that. 1 minute you're in reality, and the next minute you're in reality in your own head, and it stops you getting in a lot of trouble. What do you reckon? Do you reckon that would be a really good way to rehabilitate someone? Just before they commit the crime, you just doink. There we are.
Or after, give them punishment that seems like taking years and being punished, but it doesn't. So then they can live the life and improve themselves. Well, that's still punishment.
That would be an interesting way, wouldn't it? Anyway, I'm going to probably leave this one here. It's been quite fun.
Yeah.
It's been all right.